Grand Rising. So, I just saw an article where Michael Dahlstrom, which I saw the other day, where he was let go, and they're not giving the details as to why. It seems pretty serious. I mean, he's being scrubbed off the page, everything. So I would like to know, we as taxpayers have a right to transparency and to know why chiefs are being let go in such a way. And Carson Thomas, who's taking over, Andrew has asked him to help investigate the murder of his mother, and he's been ignored by him. Andrew has asked for documents from these people, and he's been ignored. He wants the pictures of his mother's death because it would prove a lot. He's been doing his mother's investigation on her death because the Rosemount police refused to. Because why is that? Oh, because his father and ex-wife filed an order of protection on him by committing perjury. Kirsten talks all about her father-in-law on the order of protection, that he is a witness to all of Andrew's crazy behaviors. And then a couple months later, they filed a civil commitment on Andrew, where they're saying he's having grandiose ideas and delusional thoughts. And even in court, Kirsten's screaming, "My husband's delusions, Your Honor. He's delusions. His delusions." She kept repeating herself over and over again in court about her husband's delusions. What are her husband's delusions? Do they have to tell the mental hospital what they think, why they think he's delusional? Because Andrew has legitimate reasons to believe his mother, Kathleen Comboy, was poisoned. Her body was purple before she died. She said to him, "It feels like I'm being poisoned," because she was acting crabby. And he said, "Ma, are you all right?" And she threw his plate of food on the table, and she says, "It feels like I'm being poisoned." He said his dad took off 2 weeks of work before this happened. And he's never taken off work. His dad never, ever, ever takes off work. And he took off 2 weeks. He also texted all the kids, "Hey, your mom's not feeling the best. Please stay away from the house." Which Andrew didn't listen. He went there with his daughters. And when he went out in the garage to grab something to drink, he found a box full of rat poison pills spilled out next to the shoe shelf where his dad gets out of the car. He also found some on top of the fridge that were toppled over. So Andrew's not just like making this up. He has very legitimate reasons to believe his mother, Kathleen Comboy, was poisoned by his father, and that Kirsten and Tim are covering it up. And I believe him. After everything I've been a witness to, all the harassing behavior, the harassing phone calls, the threats, his dad threatened to kill him. Andrew had multiple gas leaks in his home. He tried to sell his home. His name is the only one that was on the house. Kirsten moved out in 2019, changed her address and everything. So Andrew has legal rights to that house. And instead, they kept blocking the sale of his house. Kirsten called and told the title company that Andrew's a domestic abuser and can't sell his house. So I was in the car with him when he got that phone call. "Well, you're a domestic abuser and you're not supposed to be selling your house." And Andrew goes, "I am not a domestic abuser." I could not believe the unprofessionalism of this title company, and I should ask Andrew for the name so we can call them and make a complaint on this guy, because this is inappropriate. Andrew has been harassed, stalked, been made fun of by people on the internet. His dad told his friends and family that he has drug problems, like Kirsten wrote in the OFP. Tim Conboy told everybody in Rosemount and the police that Andrew has mental health problems and a drug problem and a drinking problem. He's been living with me and my dad for over a year now. He does not have any mental health problems. He does not have a drug problem. He's very much connected to self. He's very patient, very kind, very loving, brings good energy wherever he goes. Can he be a little irritating sometimes? Yes, absolutely. There was a time where I actually said, "No wonder why they did what they did to him." But then I came back to self, and I said, "Stephanie, it's still illegal. Just because he pissed you off does not mean that he should have to go through this or be thrown in jail or be thrown in a mental hospital and forced to take pills against his will. Treated the way he has by law enforcement officers." So I really hope Carson Thomas, who's taking over for Michael Dahlstrom, actually does the right thing and investigates this, because not one person from Rosemount Police Department has sat down and actually investigated this. Even at my court hearing, when I had court with Tim Wormager, who was on Andrew's civil commitment, when Andrew had a new judge 6 months later, said Andrew should have never been committed, right? And they kept trying to throw him back in the mental hospital, and the hospital wouldn't take him back because he's not mentally unstable. They've made this up. They've conspired against Andrew. This civil commitment has been used in his divorce hearing. She tried to use it. She tried to use it in my HRO against me, talking about her husband's mental health problems. And when they were married, she saw he was having mental health problems because he received all these blows to the head during his hockey career. That's what they used. They used his professional hockey career against him, saying that he received all these blows to the head and he has anger issues. Look at all of his hockey fights. That's what they did to Andrew. Andrew's not any of these things. I have been with domestic abusers. I have been around people with mental health problems, and Andrew is not one of them at all. My dad is a witness. I have friends who are a witness. And then when he tried selling his house, they kept blocking the sale of it. And then when he was supposed to be moving out, so then he had his sister's friend, whose sister is a part of this. Amy Harvey has been the one who's been the middleman, who has been the one who's been harassing with phone calls, per Tim. And Kirsten, she's been the one who's, we're going to throw Stephanie in jail. We're going to sue her. We're going to call Child Protective Services on her. She doesn't delete her Facebook posts. And then they filed criminal charges on me for sharing one of Andrew's posts, a very incriminating post, where he found out, because he had to do his own investigation since Rosemount police refused to investigate it. He had to do his own investigation, where Andrew found out that Officer Larson, Lars Paulson on Facebook, who stalks my page, I found out during my criminal charges, called off the Hennepin County Medical Examiner. Why did he call off the Hennepin County Medical Examiner? And then we have a video of Tim Conboy saying that Officer Larson was never at his house during his wife's death, but he's on the police report. And then Andrew says, why was the body moved to the floor? And his dad goes, well, you have to move it. I'm trained in CPR. You have to move the body to the floor. Otherwise, you're doing kick flips and blah, 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 blah. I mean, he's just going on in this phone call, which I will post it eventually. I'm still a little scared right now to post these videos of him. But anyways, he's like talking about kick flipping and just like going off about whatever. And then when you look up CPR, you're never supposed to move the body. It's never supposed to be moved unless the body's in danger. But when you do CPR, you're supposed to leave it on the bed. You're not supposed to move it to the floor. And the part that's questionable about him moving to the floor is that there's no space. His mom was a very large woman. There was no space between the bed and the wall to do CPR on her. So I have reason to believe that she was going to go, this is what my theory is, right? That she was planning, what's that, buddy? That she was planning on going to the hospital. And, ooh, if she does that, they're going to do blood work and they're going to find out she has poison in her blood. So what happened? I think, again, allegedly, I think she was suffocated, strangled, something, because his dad's statements do not add up with the paramedics. He says that at 5:30 she was breathing, and then also at 6:20 she wasn't, and she felt very cold to the touch. But on the police report, it says that she was purple, which matches up with Andrew's statements, and it also says she was still very warm to the touch. If you look at PresidentUniverse.com, Andrew's website, he has the investigation on there. He also has other information he's been researching, because this is all he's had. Like, he has posted Kirsten's perjury, a video of her throwing food outside, asking for saying that she's not taking the kids unless he pays her $10,000. And then she slams the door on her kids, and she's throwing food outside that Andrew dropped off $300 for the groceries, and she's throwing food outside. So, and then she's also abusing law enforcement. I showed you that in a video the other day with her statements, how she says, Andrew, well, I didn't share that part, but Andrew was screaming her name at the church, and which is a lie. She used phone calls and text messages to have him arrested. It's like she's like trying to destroy his life. I mean, your mom dies. Think about if you were Andrew. Your mom dies. Well, first of all, you've told your dad to stop communicating with your wife. Your mother has told your father to stop communicating with your wife. He says, I will not do that. So he continues to communicate with your wife after you've asked him to stop. And then your mom dies. And then you start questioning things. And then you ask your dad, did you poison mom? No. He starts freaking out. No, I didn't. Gets defensive. And then Andrew says, is there a medical examiner's report? And his dad says, yes. He says, can I see it? And his dad says, go get it yourself. So what does Andrew do? He goes to get it himself. And guess what? Oh, there isn't a medical examiner's report, which I think Carson Thomas also told him there was one as well. But the odd part is that when Andrew went to the Hennepin County Medical Examiner, they told him they were called off by Officer Paul Larson, who works with Rosemount, or who works at Rosemount with his father, with Andrew's dad. So yeah, there's plenty of reason, plenty of motive, and the fact that the Rosemount police refuse to investigate this is very concerning. The fact that they refuse to give us the reason why Michael Dahlstrom is being let go in such a way is very concerning. As taxpayers, we have a right to have things investigated, one, and a right to have transparency on why law enforcement officers are being let go like that. We, the people, need to stand up and ask questions. I will be calling Carson Thomas this week. I am still a little scared because all of the stuff I have been through these people. I mean, what our law enforcement system is being used for, what the judicial system is being used for is disgusting. They are using it to harass and abuse people, and Andrew is a major victim of this. I mean, what he has been through is extremely traumatizing. The fact that he wakes up every day and still continues to bring great energy to me and now our son. I'm like, and I saw it in the beginning. I said, why can't he have his kids? When I saw the way he was treating my child, when I saw the way he was treating the kids I babysit, every time I saw him around kids, I'm like, she is a liar, dude. She lied about you. There is zero reason. Like, people who have mental health problems, they can't help it. Like, I have been around people who have mental health problems. They can't help their energy. They like get mad and angry and push and shove, and they can't control themselves. Andrew is very much in control of his body. He's very much in control of his life, and he does not have mental health problems. He has legitimate reasons to believe his mother was poisoned, and the fact that the Rosemount police have allowed him to be harassed, bullied, stalked, have allowed me to be harassed, bullied, and stalked, and threatened, both of us threatened, is a concern. It does not make me feel very safe living in my community when you have law enforcement officers who have been covering up crimes for the convoys, not just now, but for many years. Andrew's brother made the top drug dealing list, and the Rosemount police reached out to Tim and said, your son made the top drug dealing list, get it under control. But any of us who went to Rosemount, we would have had criminal charges. It would have been on our record for forever. Andrew never got in trouble. His brothers never got in trouble. They never got in trouble for anything. I have another person, when I started talking about Andrew's story, one of my friends, he's black, he reached out to me and he said that his brother was called the N-word by one of Tim's sons. They got into a huge fight. Guess who got expelled? Not Tim's son, only the black kid. So when you want to talk about white supremacy and things like that, I never believed in it. I never understood it. But it's like situations like this. It's situations like principals of high schools or assistant principals of high schools, people who have power in a school, or people who have power in a judicial system, who have connections. They can get away with crimes, but a lot of people of color don't have those same connections, which is why they can't. However, there are people, right? I'm not saying there's not. There are black people, Mexican people, Asian people, whatever, who do bad things as well. And they do cover up crimes as well. There are people who have those ethnicities who are also in power, who also have covered up crimes. So it's not just white people. It's not really white supremacy, but this white privilege, like this was what would fall under white privilege, is what Andrew's family has gotten away with. And it is very, very concerning. It's very, very concerning. And it makes me worried that lots of law enforcement officers have acted with such corruption. And when you see all these like police shootings and things like that, and like the truth behind it, it's like, what really happened? Was it really necessary to shoot somebody? Was your life really in that much danger? Or another example, my cousin, Kim Gunderson, and another couple by outside Matt's Bar, if you've ever seen the memorial out there, but my cousin, Kim Gunderson, was killed in a high-speed police chase because somebody stole a car, and the police thought it was a good idea to go on a high-speed chase down Cedar Avenue. I think it's Cedar Avenue right there. And the guy ended up crashing into the car my cousin was in with this other couple, and they all died. Was 3 lives really worth a stolen vehicle? Andrew one day was driving on the highway and saw a motorcycle zoom past and then fly off the interstate, like on over the bridge, and here comes a sheriff up behind him chasing him. Which whatever, he's trying to get away. Like, that's, again, his fault that he was, didn't pull over. So his death is on him. But still, is it really worth the lives of people? Like, what if that motorcycle crashed into other people or hurt somebody else? Or who knows what happened? I don't know exactly what happened in that situation because I didn't look it up. Andrew just saw him fly off the side of the thing. But these are the kinds of things that happen from law enforcement officers. I have a whole different opinion on law enforcement officers that I'm not going to share here now because it's just not worth it. But I don't trust them anymore. I used to back the blue blindly. And after what I've seen, like, I have been traumatized, and now I understand why Black Lives Matter was marching the streets. When you see the amount of crimes that are covered up by people who have money, it is concerning. Very concerning. Andrew was stalked, harassed, held at gunpoint by Apple Valley law enforcement officers with my child held at gunpoint for phone calls and text messages trying to contact his daughters. Was it really worth arresting somebody at gunpoint and putting them in jail for trying to contact their children? I mean, read the reports. Is there zero discernment in law enforcement officers? This is what our law enforcement officers are being used for? To harass people and to arrest them for phone calls and text messages? And when you look up the reason why they're doing this, it looks very suspicious that Kathleen Conboy was murdered and that these people are trying to cover up their crimes by trying to silence Andrew Conboy and I. This is what's happening in Dakota County. And it's not just Dakota County. I've been getting other people from other states even reaching out to me about the corruption they're seeing in the court system. These judges think they are God. And they're making rules on people's lives, rulings over people's lives, signing off on orders, willy-nilly without proper due process. There needs to be due process. Where are Kirsten's marks? If Andrew is so abusive, where are her marks? How did she hit him? What did he do to hurt her? She hasn't had to explain anything at all. Oh, just that he's a drug problem and he's throwing food on the floor. And just all these things that she's just putting in the order to make him sound like the most horrible person ever. And she's not the only one. I had two other dads in Dakota County also tell me that their exes filed order for protections against them to keep the kids away from to keep the dads away from the kids. This is abusive behavior not only to these men and also women it happens to, but to these children. The amount of damage this is going to cause on those girls for years to come. They probably think their dad abandoned them. And even when people are not the nicest dads, like my friend told me that when she was younger, her dad was very abusive to her mom and even to her a little bit. And when he got arrested by police officers, she was really scared. She was sad. She still loves her dad. She still to this day loves her dad. She still loved her dad back then. And seeing her father get arrested was extremely traumatizing and very scary. Andrew didn't even do any of these things. And his daughters witnessed him getting arrested. My daughter witnessed him getting arrested. And Andrew told the law enforcement officers, you need to wait until this girl's mother gets here. She gave me permission to watch her, not you guys. And guess what they did? They didn't have the patience for it. They transported my child to, I don't know what gas station, I think Holiday maybe, got her some snacks, got her sunflower seeds, my 5-year-old sunflower seeds, and then brought her to the Apple Valley Police Department to sit there by herself. She was 5 years old. And you know what she told me? Mom, I was really scared. There was no girl officers, only boy officers. That's highly inappropriate. If you're going to be taking any child anywhere, you need to have a person of the same gender, I personally believe, to escort that person if you're going to escort children. Because children are shy. They do get shy around people they don't know. And my child does not feel comfortable around grown men. I wouldn't either as a kid. In fact, I didn't. I felt more comfortable being around my friends' moms than I did around their dads. Their dads made me feel awkward and uncomfortable when I was a child. So think how my daughter felt being transported in a law enforcement officer's car and then sitting there by herself. And thankfully, because I was in Minneapolis, my brother-in-law was closer, and me and my sister called him, like, are you at Avaloni right now? Because, like, I was scared for my child. And then I got to my sister's house, and I'm trying to call the jail, trying to figure out how to get Andrew out because I know he's not guilty of any crimes. And I tried to tell law enforcement. After I requested the complaints, because I was like, there's no way he's being arrested for phone calls and text messages. That's what he told me. And I was like, there's no way, Andrew. Like, why would they arrest you for phone calls and text messages? That's just insane to me. And so then I go and request the complaints, and I'm like, holy fuck. Not only did she use them once, the text messages, she used them twice. The same phone calls and text messages that have the same exact wording on the text she did on the 21st of September and the 28th of September in 2023. And then Andrew was riding by the church and saw his dad and Kirsten parked by each other on the side of the church, not even by the main doors. They were parked on the side. And he's recording it, and he's like, my dad said he's in Blaine all day long, but here he is hanging out with Kirsten, my wife. He's with my kids. He can see my kids, but I can't. Like, he was going off in this video. And then he saw his daughter, and she'd been withholding him since he hadn't been able. This is September, right? Or October 1st this happened. He went live on Facebook. So I watched the whole video. I watched the whole thing go down. And So when he saw them, and he's in this video stating that his dad said he's being blamed, and he's staying with his wife, and blah, 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 whatever, he screamed, "I love you, Madison." And then she told the police, even though he was on the other side of Pilot Knob, not close to the parking lot at all, on the other side, the only thing she heard out of his mouth was, "I love you, Madison." But yet she tells law enforcement officers on the complaints that Andrew was standing next to the parking lot screaming her name. That is a lie to law enforcement officers. I watched the video. And so the fact that he was, so then after that, that's when he was, October 4th. Hi. October 4th is when he was arrested at gunpoint with my child. And I have been investigating this case for over 2 years now. I used to campaign. I used to do a lot of political stuff. I used to do journalism at the Capitol, at all the rallies. Like, I have been a journalist since 2016. I would have never spoken up on the internet about this if I did not truly believe that Kathleen Conboy is poisoned. I thought, even in the beginning, I didn't even necessarily believe the murder part, but I believed what Kirsten was doing because I requested the complaints. And then I went and read all the court documents where his dad and his wife conspired together on a civil commitment. Again, Tim Wormager, who illegally signed off on an HRO against me, off all hearsay, zero proof provided to the court. Tim Wormager signed off on Andrew's civil commitment. And again, when Andrew got a new judge, the judge told him, "You should have never been committed." So what happens to these two people? Because this is a conspiracy, this is defamation of character, this is collusion. There are a lot of crimes taking place in Dakota County, and because I'm the victim of threatening behavior and stalker behavior and harassment, I am the actual victim, not Tim Conboy, not Kirsten Conboy. Me and Andrew are the victims. Something needs to be done about this. I have tried reaching out to Michael Dahlstrom multiple times. I tried reaching out to other law enforcement officers where I was told, "It's out of my jurisdiction. There's nothing I can do. I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Where do you report this to?" I don't know. Andrew asked the same questions to law enforcement officers. He went to other police agencies. I mean, he's been traveling around Minnesota to the Capitol, to the BCA, to the police, for all of these things to try to get this investigated. He's written letters to the sheriffs. And nobody will do anything about it. I've reached out to Lakeville law enforcement officers. I'm like, they're withholding his daughters. Like, this is abusive behavior. He has not had any contact with his daughters for over 2 years. He's not a violent, crazy, mentally unstable person. Kirsten and Tim are, and I have proof of that through the video calls, or the video of the phone calls that we have where his dad's screaming at Andrew. He's showing up to Andrew's house. Andrew put a live on Facebook where they came to his house, helped him move out, and they left his door wide open. When Andrew showed up at home, his door was wide open. What are they doing? Like, what they have done is truly evil behavior. I listened to the phone calls of them making fun of him, the emails that are making fun of him, talking down on him. This is not loving behavior by family members. This is abuse. And I do believe that there is a murder that needs to be investigated in Rosemount. And the fact that there's not, the fact that they've covered it up and hushed it up, and you have people on Facebook groups making fun of Andrew, saying he's mentally challenged. I had people reach out to me saying he's having psychosis. Look at his videos. Those are for entertainment purposes. You saw a video of somebody and you think, "Oh, I believe it." Have you ever been around the person? Have you actually been in that person's presence to actually make an opinion on that? Oh, no, you haven't? So probably shut your mouth. Because the abuse I've seen Andrew go through has been like, he's a human being. He is an actual human being, a real human being that actually has feelings and emotions. It's hard to believe, I know, right? Who has been through this. His mother's murdered, I believe, allegedly murdered. Okay, his mother's allegedly murdered. And then you take his daughters away on top of that. This is malicious, evil behavior. And it needs to be investigated. So, with that, I hope you have a lovely day. Love you all. Bye.